0-2 against a team like the A-Team, right? That would have basically already put a serious tint in their record. That would have meant that other teams like CE and SBT could have potentially already gotten a mighty lead. And for Beyond the Game, there's only one goal this phase. The only goal they have is get back to the Eastern Clash, reclaim their second, maybe even first position in the region, because they want to make sure that they do not miss another tournament. And last time they had to give it away to the one we're going to see later. Let's see how they are looking coming off that break.
And we are back into the draft. This was a BTG map choice. The A-Team opting for first pick and immediately removing the Genji. Yeah. Can't really blame them. BTG, though, sticking standard as well. They're going to get rid of that Maiev. So now, if we're going by mid-season brawl rules, there should be a Malfurion or a Garrosh or something along those lines. And there is go.
Did you get to meet our colleague Yaya, by the way, at the mid-season brawl? I know she was in the studio for a few days.
She came to the studio, and I did not know she was there. And then once I found out she was in Sweden, she was not coming back to the studio again, so we did not get to meet.
Ah, that would have been amazing. That would have been so cool. Because for those of you who didn't know, Yaya, of course, one of the commentators at HGC channel, actually commentating today with No, I believe, if I saw that correctly.
I think it might have been Q, I'm not sure.
Might have been Q. We're going to have to take another close look once we see the Chinese colleagues. But she's awesome. She's also one of our primary sources of intelligence. So sometimes she will drop some inside information. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get in contact with her yet. So maybe we're going to get some inside stories on how the players feel, what the teams are looking like. She's also very close friends with Timeless, a legendary player who unfortunately, or fortunately we should say, luckily, is still in the league. He's now playing under the banner of KT, no longer with RPG.
Indeedy, so we will be able to see them perform later. As the opening salvo of BTG, going with, quite likely, a purification form of salvo, with the Diablo Phoenix combo coming in. This is a classic composition. Usually was left a little bit later to pick up the Phoenix to try and hide the goals here. I mean, there are other forms of Phoenix, like, for example, the Global Phoenix, which isn't so much a global hero, but the fact that you basically just split push, a strategy I believe first actually seen in China, where you just split push another lane and then just laser beam from across the map.
Yeah. Really efficient also.
They're stealing their draft!
That is true. They actually already banked in 3 heroes that Beyond the Game was fielding against them in the first game. So,
bad Genji though, so they can't properly copy-paste.
No, Diablo is no longer there, you're right. So let's see. The Phoenix, I mean, we had Planet Cracker coming up in a couple of games, but mostly it's the salvo. I do think there was one instance, though, there's one circumstance which allows you to go for Planet Cracker even in a pro environment, and that is when the enemy team has an Abathur, and you basically want to snipe him across the map every single time you see the Slugger on the lane.
I mean, the one-shot combo where you just use Entomb into Planet Cracker is one we saw at mid-season brawl in the majority of the regions.
Did it win?
Once. And like we said, yeah, it was played twice and it won one, lost one, if I remember correctly. But yeah, there is that combo, and then of course, like I already mentioned, the global combo. So Planet Cracker is viable, and of course, if you're on Braxis, it's preferred. But for now, let's see what BTG are going to ban. With Genji removed, what fills in this draft the best? It's going to be Tychus taken out here. They already have Diablo, so that likely means this is not going to be a solo Phoenix. This is going to be a main damage dealer Phoenix, and they'll pick a different solo laner, and potentially a little more tanky one, which is risky against Malthael, but potentially better for team fights.
Yeah, and some of you probably are wondering, why did they ban Tychus? Couldn't they have picked it themselves against the Garrosh? Because Tychus' percentage damage is so good against it. The problem is, if you go for something like Phoenix and Tychus, first of all, your wave clear is going to be kind of limited, which in Sky Temple could sometimes be a problem, because it slows down your rotations. It sometimes causes people to come late to Temple fights as well. And secondly, your damage type would rather be kind of similar to auto attackers, very susceptible to blinds, for example. You basically probably want to get a mage in there instead of Tychus, which has a little bit more wave clear available, and also a little bit of damage variation.
So now with Jaina removed, Jaina would have also been great, more slows for Phoenix, but that has left Blaze open, who in my opinion is the absolute perfect second damage dealer to go alongside a, second damage dealer, second frontliner to go alongside the Phoenix because of the consistent slows. The bunker is extra protection as well. We already saw how well that went last time against the Malthael, but this time with no Tychus, I think they can probably survive the Malthael damage, especially if they can avoid letting him stack Black Harvest, if that's the build they go for.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Blaze just has to play safe and not get caught. They're going to hold their solo laner, though, at least for the moment, bringing out the Hanzo, that extra damage there. That's the second damage dealer. And the Alexstrasza coming in.
Yeah, normally sometimes you want to play it the way that your solo laner picks his hero the last, so you find a nice counter to what the enemies applied in the solo lane. The problem is, Malthael has no real counters. He's so good in what he does.
Yeah.
There's only a few heroes that could probably best him in a solo lane setup, and that is normally ranged heroes. Heroes like Phoenix are oftentimes played against Malthael because they can escape his abilities quite nicely. They can chip him down from a safe distance, whereas melee characters like Sonya, Blaze, for example, they are juicy targets and get constantly harassed by Malthael's passive.
Are you inferring that we might have a non-solo laning second frontliner and have Phoenix going into the solo lane?
Maybe. It all depends on how comfortable they are. I think there's a couple of heroes that can maybe do it sometimes, but those are rather, I would say, niche. I don't think Leoric would fit in here, for example. Rexar, we haven't seen that one in quite some time. So it wouldn't surprise me, but if they end up going for this double melee rotation style, then they really have to make sure to land their CC abilities picture perfect because they're going to lack killing potential.
I'm leaning towards something like a Zeratul here as the final pick. Instead of going for just a full heavy frontliner. No, it's not.
Oh my goodness.
So instead of another frontliner, which the whole point is lots of protection kind of style, they go for lots of protection. Lots of protected, by the way. Bringing out the Medivh, Portal Diablo, already terrifying. This could be really interesting, and this also does, once again, lead me towards that this could either be a 2-3-1 split, a 2-1-2 split, or that this will in fact be a Phoenix solo lane.
Yeah, it's I think it's most certainly going to be a Phoenix solo lane to fight against the Malthael, which is great. We mentioned why before. And Medivh actually is the only non-melee character that I would have preferred to have in this setup. Why? Because you don't need as much peel now. You have the portals to help your allies escape. You have the shields to basically prevent Li Ming combo resets. You have the shield to also block a last rites. Potentially from the Malthael. So if Medivh has good timing here, and then of course we also have the Leyland Seal Apocalypse combo, which is always a scary thing to face, we could actually see a lot of cool stuff coming out for Beyond the Game. But once again, Tetra, as always with the Medivh, you're going to have to be able to execute it first and then make it look good.
Very true indeed. In fact, ADRD, current player for Method at the moment, I believe.
Yes.
Had a lovely meme that he put out on his Twitter of the Medivh with the Method symbol, and then their Medivh, which I believe was just a super derpy crow or something along those lines. But either way, we are heading into game number 2 of this 2-game series. And ladies and gentlemen, on the left-hand side, 1-0 up, it is Beyond the Game, with 619 on Diablo, LLK on Medivh, Druid on Alexstrasza, Dancing on Hanzo, and 3 is playing the Phoenix.
Oh, I saw a Sunny Line spray there. Never forget. Oh, yeah. What's up, A-Team? How's it going? Welcome to game number 2. We have Jaina here on the Li Ming this time. Oh, Lily is playing the Greymane. Bruiser on that Malthael. Stukov is on the Malfurion. And Uncle G, once again, seems to be the locked-in and confirmed main tank. And maybe potentially even shot caller for Team A-Team, one of the new teams in the league. They kicked out their opponents in the Crucible. Sunny Line is no more. And Team Soa start over again, which Uncle G was part of before, is also no longer in the league. And Tetra, man, that is quite the emotional thing to say, isn't it? Because they've been with us ever since we started casting HGC China in 2017.
CE, RPG, SPT, and SOA. Those were our consistent stalwart defenders of the old guard. But now with SOA gone, we're running out of old guard. RPG, though, they keep holding on. They just keep surviving. But for now, we'll have to see how they perform later on. They've had more roster changes as well, as we see 619 looking for Uncle G, but a quick toss there. Uncle G having none of it.
Already a pattern here for Chinese Diablo players. Once again, feast on fear instead of the Devil's Due. So the good old talent that used to give you so much sustain whenever you picked up a health globe or picked up the fountain is no longer a go-to choice, it seems, at least for China. What about the mid-season brawl? Do you remember any specific Diablo games where Devil's Due, was picked over Feast on Fear? Was it always Feast on Fear?
It was a rotation between the two. If you felt you were going to be rotating a lot, then Devil's Due is, of course, really solid value, especially on smaller maps like Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Yeah.
Oh, careful there. Uncle G tried to toss 619, instead gets the minion, but also put himself very close to toss range of 619 in terms of getting himself over the wall, exactly what he would want to be doing. Here we see 3 and dancing already beginning on this mercenary camp, as Diablo is outnumbered, outgunned, outclassed, and now surrounded, but a quick tackle allows him to escape without even having to use the portal.
Perfect timing there by LK, showing up when his friends needed him there. And that's something you can basically see what A-Team is trying to do here, right? They're trying to siege up. They're trying to establish a lot of pressure into the bottom lane with the help of the Siege Giants already. Because guess what? Beyond the game, as good as their damage is going to be because of Phoenix, Hanzo, and Medivh, they kind of lack the wave clear. So Hanzo now, of course, with the PvE damage is helping out a little bit in that regard, but Hanzo can't be everywhere on the map at the same time. He's instead basically trying to keep Bruiser on the Malthael in check. Looks like A-Team is now trying to get their own mercenary camp, their own Bruisers, but in the meantime, Beyond the Game is already trying to take down a tower, and they do so successfully. Can they get the second one?
They probably can with this mercenary camp. We'll finally see the rotation from Stukov and their Lele. But with the full mercenary camp here, full harassment coming in from Virid and Dancing, they will easily get this second tower. Nicely done. But unfortunately, this does mean they're going to have to burn some of their... Yeah, nice little trait there, forcing the fountain. But they're going to have to burn a little bit of time dealing with this Bruiser camp, which means they will have a little bit less defense on the objective.
All right, so yeah, that took so long for A-Team to get their own mercenary camp. Uncle G is tossing 619 out of the way. He doesn't want him to engage on heroes like Malfurion or Grayman here. Now chipping, poking damage coming in, but also this is now going to benefit A-Team. Look at that. The mercenaries actually keeping their opponents at their own gates, which means they have free reign over this temple. Diablo Shadow charging out to safety. Can he make it? The shields are good, and here comes the Dragon Queen.
Surprise Medivh, surprise Dragon! They push forward looking for Li Ming. They pick it up. The Indomitable keeping Garrosh alive without a turning round, looking for Diablo. But he's able to move back, gets rooted, but outside of fort range. So this will allow them to move back onto the point as Phoenix moves back down to bottom lane. Interestingly enough, because Phoenix is in the solo lane, he actually went for mobile offense as opposed to Arsenal synergy. This is basically going to allow him to stutter step around the Malthael skill shots, which is the main thing he needs to dodge the majority of the time, instead of just going for a damage trait, which is what you would like to see in the majority of pro games, because you can get that huge amount of fairly long range burst.
Right, Grayman is charging in. Olilai not being able to deliver any damage though, because LLK on that Medivh is so far really on his tippy toes. He lands those shields whenever they're needed. I don't think I've seen a single bad one up to this point. He also hasn't died yet, so the stacking process is still going on strong. Here's a portal over the wall, saving Dibbles, saving himself as well. And I think, judging from what we've seen so far, Tetcher, I think Beyond the Game has what it takes to make this work. I think they're playing their composition very smartly up to this point, but level 10 could change a lot of things. We've seen the impact of Malthael in those team fights in Game 1 with Tormented Souls. I think we're going to see Tormented Souls again this time, unless they are really confident in dodging the Medivh shields. Then we could have the Grayman explode with Go for a Throat. So lots of burst damage, lots of reset potential actually with the Li Ming as well. So more than ever will there be responsibility on Medivh's shoulders.
Can we just talk about the laning setup of BTG here as we see Bruiser going down? Because literally, BTG have not stayed in the same lane at any point. They've rotated all 5 heroes. Each hero has been in each lane consistently, not even as a 5-man group up. Each hero at some point has been solo in a lane by themselves, except Alexstrasza, who's just been rotating with the team at least once. They have made their draft so unpredictable, and they're still ahead in XP. They've managed to keep these unpredictable rotations up without getting caught out. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. If you can't win the lanes because your laners are like outdrafted on paper, like, you know, with a Malthael, you basically just play a weird game. You don't play standard, you know? You don't play standard lanes where you could lose most likely. You go for ganks, you go for lane rotations, and you're going to make the enemy team run past you, run behind you. That's exactly what they're doing right now. So well played by Beyond the Game, I fully agree. And here goes the Lightning Breath Salvo combo. This is basically every Phoenix player's dreams. We have so much slowing coming in now, and this should be a very easy combo for them to land. Medivh hasn't decided yet. He's preferring...
He really should go for the polybomb here. Yes. It's a nice single target ability, single target
You don't
denial,
want to mess up the combo.
And Yeah, that's what we saw a lot at MSB, where people would accidentally leyline their own team stuff. And of course, it just gives staggered reveals, which means you can get less value out of Lightning Breath sometimes. So I would really prefer the Polybomb here. But we see 619. No, it's going for leyline. They're going to trust themselves to not screw it up as they move forward. Looking for Uncle G here. 619, tackle 1, but doesn't hit the wall, and Indomitable is popped.
Okay, Medivh is not really engaging a team fight now, and he should definitely use his heroic ability first. If he uses it in somewhere in between the Lightning Breath and the Salvo, it could spell disaster for them. But here goes beyond the game. Medivh is scouting. Uncle G is trying to force his way in. He gets greeted by the Diablo, though, and here comes the Dragon Queen once more.
The salvo hits one target, and it's Garrosh who gets hit by literally everything here. Wow. He finally gets taken out. In comes the leyline from behind, grabbing two members. Diablo's in position as Cleansing Flame cleanses the A-Team. Oh, I love it when a plan comes together, but it's not for the A-Team as BTG picks up another 3 kills.
There we go. Portals to minimize the downtime, to speed up the rotations as well. They're not wasting any precious seconds here beyond the game is. They're playing it almost picture perfectly. Super efficient, super clean the execution there as well. Not even going for a full team combo Medivh that was. He was isolating 2 people. Now, look at that engagement on Uncle G as well. Normally, it's a bad idea to focus that many cooldowns on one tech, but if he's that out of position, if you have that many high damage tools, you're gonna take Garrosh's life here. And then the 2-man leyline on top of the Cleansing Flame. So much damage, no escaping tools. Mouth doesn't have the greatest of burst healing available to keep them alive as well. And here goes a clean triple kill for Beyond the Game.
3 heroics were dropped onto Garrosh in that fight.
So
that is hilarious. It was absolutely worth it. It was easily able to set them up for more kills, let Diablo get in range of the other heroes, and yeah, worked well for them as they begin working on this bottom wall. They will take down both towers, but with the boss going pretty low here, even with the minions here, the wave clear is too good from the A-Team. Yeah. So this keep will survive unless they back up, but they very passively actually. Yeah. This might mean the keep goes down because the minions here will tank a lot of shots. Wave clear going good. 2 sets of siege giants. Can they do it? No, they're out of minions. They are still forced to back up. And now have they bitten off more they could chew? Cleansing Flame coming down. 3 is in trouble. Gets healed up though. This one's good. Salvo does so much damage. 2 members down, 3 members down, and Dancing looking for 4. He's just going to try a 1v2 to take down Olele here. He's going so greedy. The force of will, though, keeps him alive, and they're going for core Kendrick.
How many sessions do we have left? I see 2 there at the bottom of the screen. 3. And the good thing is, of course, Alex Strasse has the Life Blossom at level 7, so she can heal those Siege Giants for no resource costs.
They did it. Yeah. That's it. That's GG. Olele can't to protect this on his own, and that is GG. A brutal